Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a Screenwriter's Rant on Come On, Come On, starring Joaquin Phoenix in a black and white movie that's very, very important because it's in black and white. So smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check out my books. Links in the description. You've been checking them out. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'll spare you the longer version of the plug, but the links are all in there. So let's get into this. Joaquin Phoenix, of course, is a really good actor, and this is a different kind of movie. It seems to be uplifting and happy. He reads a poem throughout this movie. It looks very slow paced. He reads kind of an essay or a poem throughout this trailer, which is very nice. I mean, it's a nice trailer. It's almost like a nice mini movie with a montage of a father and son. I think the wife dies and then he has to raise his son alone. I think that's the thrust of this movie, unfortunately. So I think it's going to be kind of a sad movie where Joaquin Phoenix has to rise above it to raise his son all alone, and there are some, ups and downs and heartbreaks, but ultimately they survive and win, and they move on with their lives and have a nice life, I guess. I mean, it seems like a nice uplifting movie, but it seems a little pretentious. Here he is reading the poem and then crying at the end. I mean, he reads the whole damn thing, which made the trailer feel so long. When I got to this, I shut it off and said, "Oh, maybe I'll review a different movie." So I gotta say, it feels kind of boring, even though it's uplifting. But if you want, it's written and directed by Mike Mills, so I'm sure it's very nice. I guess you have to be in the mood for it. I mean, Gabby Hoffman? Is that someone related to Abby Hoffman? I wonder. Woody Norman, I think that name says. Coming soon. I mean, A24 does some cool stuff. This kid apparently is in it, and Joaquin, it doesn't look like the kind of movie that would be hard for him to act in. And that's no offense to the script. It just looks kind of nice, I guess. There's, I mean, I need something to draw me into a movie. The first act, they're a happy family. Everything's going great. The mother has some problems, but they think they're overcoming it. By the end of the first act, it's going to get really bad. And the second act, she dies. It's devastating. And Joaquin Phoenix has to raise his son. And then in the third act, they have some trials and tribulations. And then in the third act, they overcome them, I guess. I mean, it's hard for me to watch movies like this because they're so... To me, they're kind of boring. I mean, they're just boring. It's just regular people doing regular stuff. And it's like being simulated. It's like, I kind of don't want to see movies like that. Unless they really give me some insight into the human condition, I guess. But I'm not seeing that in the trailers, so it's not drawing me in. Maybe it's because I don't have kids. I don't know. Maybe it's something that parents would like. I mean, it looks like a happy, positive movie. So it's got that going for it. I think I wouldn't mind watching it if I could, calm myself down long enough to watch it. I'm usually pretty amped up on caffeine. So I usually can't sit still for a movie like this. I mean, I literally couldn't sit still for the trailer. I tuned out. So I'm not knocking it. It's just not my kind of movie. It looks well made. The black and white thing's a little pretentious too. I'm not exactly sure of the message here. Does it take place in the past? It might. Nobody has a mask on. I don't know. That's another thing about Hollywood that kind of cheeses me off. Like, they're ignoring the mask for the movie. And it's like, does this take place in the modern day? Because that's usually an issue in a movie. And if it does, why aren't you incorporating the mask? If it's so important and so many celebrities support the mask, why aren't they wearing the mask? I know why. It's partly because actors don't want to cover up their face. That's a major component. The actor doesn't want to cover up his face. The people who paid all the money to get that specific actor don't want his face covered up. See Judge Dredd starring Sylvester Stallone and Batman starring Michael Keaton. So it's like, okay, so it's almost like you don't believe in the mask mandate, and you probably shouldn't, judging by all the data, not to get too deep into the weeds here. But what are you doing? The messaging, it makes the messaging odd to me. That's, not that I'm obsessed with that, but it's like, if I'm not seeing a mask on people, when does this take place? And are you, you're shooting this in New York, it looks like, in parts of it, or San Francisco, places where the mask mandate are pretty stringent. So shouldn't they be wearing a mask in at least one scene if this takes place in the modern day? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. I don't see anything that indicates a time frame. I mean, they could easily just roll it back 5 years and then ignore it, right? It takes place in 2015, so no biggie. But then, they got a hi-fi in the background. So maybe it does take place in the past. I don't know. Again, I'm not really seeing anything. I mean, these buildings seem pretty new. Seems pretty new. And that seems like New York, right? That looks like the Brooklyn Bridge. Seems like New York. Seems like New Jersey there. So, I don't know. And again, you might say, well, the movie's not about that. Yeah, I get it. But if it's about life, that's part of life now. I mean, I don't want it to be part of life, but it's part of life. So, I don't know. It looks like it's inspiring. So, I don't know. I probably won't see this. I just probably won't. Maybe it'll be on at some point, and I'll have nothing to do, and I'll go, yeah, I guess I'll watch this. But that would be the only way. This to me feels like a movie I would have put on in the background on a Sunday when I watch TV and just let it run. And once in a while, I'd the music would change or there'd be a transition. I'd look up and go, oh, a tree. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. We'll see you